it's the midterms in the United States tomorrow, which is Tuesday. The United States President Joe Biden has been campaigning with the New York governor in the country's midterm elections at a rally in Bronxville. He spoke about the multiple legislation of his administration while heavily criticizing Republicans, especially Lee Zeldin, who made a stop in New York on his campaign trail.
That's more like my generation. All right. Bottom up and the middle out. And I tell you what, it's a fundamental shift, and it's working compared to the mega Republican trickle-down economics. You saw what happened last time under my predecessor. The economy left it in ruins. He's the first president in America since Herbert Hoover to lose more jobs than he had when he came to office. Fewer jobs.
Joining me from Washington, D.C. on the midterm election is a global affairs analyst, Calvin Dark. Good to have you join us.
Good to be here.
So I guess you were listening to President Trump there, and you've heard that speech he made in New York. And we've also had President Trump and others who have gone for campaigning, whether for the Republicans or Democrats, speak on various issues. We see how either Republicans are trying to frame this, saying to the voters, look, think of inflation, or the Democrats are saying, look, think of our democracy, think of abortion rights. But how much of this influenced the voters in terms of how they vote?
Well, I think what's true for this election, that's always been true about U.S. elections, is the economy is always the #1 issue. And so that hasn't changed. And what I want just to remind everyone that voters can have multiple priorities. Someone can be concerned about the economy, for example, but be motivated to vote maybe if they weren't planning on it because of the attacks on democracy and abortion rights. One other thing that voters are going to be thinking about is when they think about the economy, they're going to blame the party in power, as they should. That's the Democrats. But they're also going to have to think, what have the Republicans proposed that they could get signed by Joe Biden? They have a lot of ideas, but what we know for sure, regardless of who wins tomorrow, Joe Biden will be president and in the White House for 2 more years. And I think voters see that if they're just obstructing, that's not going to help their economy or their economic progress in any fashion.
And how does this play out for Democrats? They have control of the House of Representatives, and Kamala Harris is the tiebreaker for them in Congress, and so that sort of works for them right now. But we know that historically the midterms have always not worked in favor of those in White House, the party in White House. So how does this play out for Democrats?
Well, I don't trust polls because they've been, wrong in the past. But it does look like for the House of Representatives that the Democrats may lose control. It's just a matter of how many seats the Republicans can get. On the Senate, it's still a toss-up because Democrats have very strong candidates. The races are razor thin. And keep in mind, even if Democrats lose a vulnerable one, if they pick up one that Republicans had, it's not going to change the 50-50 split with Vice President Harris breaking the tie. So the Senate could very well stay in Democratic hands.
And do you think that it's easier for the Democrats to make a win, looking at the numbers that they need to make that win? Again, for the Democrats, for the Republicans, it's just 5-1. 5 in the House of Reps and 1 in the Senate. Is it harder for the Republicans or is it harder for Democrats?
I think for the House, it's going to be harder for the Democrats, easier for the Republicans, because like I said, regardless of the specifics of this election, history just is not working in the Democrats' favor. But what we are also seeing here in these Senate races, it's really going to come down to 4. And in a lot of those races, the candidates that Republicans are running are not in the mainstream. Some of them are, kind of kooky, would be my word. And so in that sense, the Democrats will have an easier time defending the Senate against some troublesome Republican candidates.
And I wish we could talk about what this would mean for President Trump as he's also looking to make a comeback. But we are monitoring the midterm elections in the U.S. Thank you so much for talking to us. Global Affairs Analyst Calvin Dark.
Thank you.